Charting Toward Intimacy covers mature topics. Listener discretion is advised. There's a lot of confusion around sex toys and marital aids and what is okay and what is not okay. So we're going to do a quick episode on just some overviews of what's okay and what's not okay, and really the baseline of the moral licitness of marital aids in this week's episode. Welcome to Charting Toward Intimacy, the sex and intimacy podcast for Catholic women. My name is Ellen Holloway, and I am a Catholic speaker and coach who is on a mission to help you actually enjoy and desire good, holy sex with your spouse. So like I said, today we are going to be talking about marital aids, aka sex toys. The Catholic Church uses the term marital aid, and that term is extremely helpful to us in understanding the morality of the use of marital aids. So sex toys are anything that is used to, kind of enhance pleasure. In our secular culture, we see a lot of sex toys being used as a replacement for sex. And I'm just going to say it super straight right from the get-go. Using any kind of tool, anything, to replace sex is absolutely not moral. The moral act of sex requires that the man ejaculates inside of the woman's vagina. That really truly is, that's like that moral need to have happen, because sex is a unitive and procreative act. So we need to have that physical unity that exists when the man is inside the woman, and we need to have that procreative possibility, the ejaculation inside of the woman. Ejaculation cannot happen anywhere else outside of the woman. Now, when it comes to sexual pleasure, especially for women, it can feel a little elusive. It can feel a little like, I don't know what to do here, how to improve this. And so the use of marital aids in aiding the couple toward a more pleasurable and unitive experience is morally licit. So things like vibrators can be used in a perfectly morally licit way to enhance the pleasure of the woman and help stimulate her toward orgasm. Now, this is something that, and John Paul II actually talks about this a little bit in his book, Love and Responsibility, that was actually written before he became Pope, so Karol Wojtyła at the time. But really, when we're looking at marital aids, we want to make sure that they are always acting as an aid, not as a crutch or a need. So they're always helping to enhance the relationship, enhance the intimacy, making it more pleasurable, things like that. Not that they absolutely have to happen for the act to be, comfortable, pleasurable, enjoyable for both people. Something else that quite a few Catholic theologians agree upon when it comes to marital aids is, again, trying to focus not so much on always allowing it to be this crutch, but letting it be a teaching tool and a tool that helps you and your husband get to know each other's bodies better and what kind of stimulation is going to help and what's going to bring that unity and bring that pleasure together. So a vibrator might be used during foreplay, and the couple can kind of learn what kind of stimulation is very pleasurable for the woman, and then work toward not actually using the vibrator at all. And that is a great thing to work toward. But again, I just want to reiterate that the morality of it is that so long as it is being used to enhance the marital act and bring that marital act to completion, then there's no moral illicitness with using these marital aids. We'll be back with the episode in just a minute. Thank you so much for being here and for being a listener of this podcast. I hear from so many of you all the time via email or via Instagram that this podcast or maybe a specific episode has really blessed you and blessed your marriage. And I am so happy that that is what is happening with this podcast. I have a request for you. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please head over to iTunes and leave a review for this podcast. Those reviews help other people find this podcast and benefit from it as well. Ratings are great, but the reviews are absolute gold. So please, if you have a minute, head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review for Charting Toward Intimacy. Another one that people have asked about is something called the penis ring. This can do two things. One, it can help the man stay harder for longer to prolong the time between before his ejaculation and orgasm, which can help the woman then also reach her orgasm at a similar time. Something like this, again, is completely morally illicit and can actually be a really good teaching tool. The other thing that the penis ring can do in some cases, in some of the penis rings, is that it creates a spot that helps for clitoral stimulation, direct clitoral stimulation of the clitoral head during intercourse, which can be extremely pleasurable for women. So again, this is a tool. This is something that can be used to enhance the marital act, and that can absolutely be morally licit to use those things, so long as we're remembering that a morally licit sexual act means that the man ejaculates during intercourse. That's the main thing on a morally illicit act that we need. And so any kind of marital aid, we want to make sure that it is not contraceptive in some nature, that it's not replacing sex, not replacing intercourse. And we want to make sure that it's not creating a situation where the man is going to ejaculate anywhere else than inside of the woman's vagina. So there's your quick kind of recap or intro to the use of marital aids and the moral licitness of that. If you have more questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to do a follow-up on this episode to kind of explain more, answer more questions. So as always, you are welcome to reach out on Instagram, or my email is down in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening. If you are not already following us on Instagram, be sure to check us out at Charting Toward Intimacy. And if you listen to podcasts on a platform that gives you the option to rate or review, we'd love for you to do that because it helps us spread the word about the podcast. If you ever have questions, comments, or episode topic ideas, please reach out to us. We love to hear from you. You can reach out on Instagram or send us an email. Our email is in the show notes. Until next time.